Some people refer to this as the Sega Tower of Power. So I refer to this as the unstoppable Segalopolis. We're talking Sega Genesis with the Sega CD, the 32X, the Sonic & Knuckles lock-on technology, the Sonic 3, over to the Sega Genesis arcade power stick, individually addressable mega fire buttons and adjustable mega speed. Oh, and by the way, it's all being played through a Sega Game Gear with the official super wide gear and the Sega TV tuner, which makes this whole thing possible. That's right, this is an entirely self-contained Sega Mega Ultimate Juggernaut. But what you really want to see is this thing in action, right? So here we go. Exquisite. Unstoppable. Merciless. The Segalopolis. Build one of these legendary devices, you might be asking yourself. Well, the answer is you need the Tower of Power, you need the joystick, but what's really important is the TV tuner, as well as an adapter, basically headphone jack. So instead of having audio left, right, and ground, you actually have video, audio, which is mono and ground. And you can see here's the audio here, and the video is going here. This is actually like an audio to headphone jack, but it works fine. It works fine for RCA. Plugs into this beast right there. And then the Sega super wide gear, that's just bling, baby. But of course, what you really need first is a working Game Gear. You can't use one that's screen modded. There's a technical reason for why you can't do it, but if you use one of the modern screen mods, then you won't actually be able to use the video on this. And you'll also need to change the capacitors out in your Game Gear, because if you haven't already, they're toast. They only last for like 15 to 20 years. When you open it up, you will see that they have exploded. So I will show you exactly what I did. So the repair isn't totally done here, but I am putting it back together with a Retro 6 power board so that I can test it and make sure that I at least recap the motherboard properly. And whenever I'm testing something partway through a repair, I always like to do something a little fun, a little different, maybe something that some people would consider blasphemous. And then this. Because this has exactly what I need. It's just my start button sucks. Yes, I'm gonna turn the lights off. Honestly, the best sound effects ever. Over here, I've recapped and fixed the original power board. I did have this really great Retro Kai power board, powered by USB-C. And you might be wondering, why would I use the crappy old power board? I have the official Game Gear adapter. This guy plugs into your Game Gear so you can play plugged into a wall. And it's important because I also have 3 more adapters for the Sega CD and the 32X. Okay, and people with the Tower of Power always talk about their 3 adapters and how difficult it is to plug them all in. Well, I have 4. I have 4 adapters, and that is why my system is even more cumbersome, which only gives me more bragging rights. This is what it looks like when you really play with power. 4 fucking adapters. And yes, of course, I will play Doom. Thank you for sticking around to the very end of this video, and in fact there is one more surprise coming up right at the tail end. But first, you have to listen to me tell you all the reasons that you should be subscribed to my channel. Reason number 1, I fix old electronics from the 90s that nobody cares about anymore. Okay, that should be reason enough. But, you know, if you need more, reason number 2, I make Spider-Man guitars, custom Spider-Man guitars. You don't want to miss that. Third, I make time lapses of woodworking projects where insects crawl into my mouth and it's caught on video. Do you really want to miss that? No, you don't. And if all of that has not convinced you, perhaps this will. When I got the TV tuner, it was in this box. And you may notice it still has the original plastic protector on it. Now we're gonna do what should have been done a long time ago. So satisfying.